What's up, everybody? Brett here, back today, continuing our videos on the Battle Brothers Blazing Deserts DLC news. It's devlog 129, and it's finally getting into the meat and potatoes, I think, of the city-states, a concept that they dropped on us a couple devlogs back, but now they're finally going to elaborate on it. So let's get into it. I love the artwork that I'm seeing. I scrolled down a little bit, a few minor spoilers for me, but there is some awesome stuff in this devlog that we're about to talk about. So, a major feature of the upcoming Blazing Deserts DLC is an expanded South with several city-states that have their own distinct culture, looks, services, contracts, and more. Based loosely on medieval era, Arabian, and Persian culture, time to talk about it in detail. Unique contracts. Okay. The Southern Deserts. What is a barren wasteland now, once was green and fruitful, an ancient empire. Ooh, it's got like a link to this. Ruled these lands long ago, but a cataclysmic event purged it from the face of the world along with their god emperor, leaving but ruins and ashes. And from the ashes the belief in a new god arose, a powerful god manifest in the sun, the Gilder. So, the Gilder. Every time, okay, this is a stupid thing. Try to find the bloopers for Spider-Man 3. Watch it and then tell me what you think when you hear the Gilder. Okay? I'm doing you a favor. Just go and watch it, laugh your butt off, come back and tell me what you think about the Gilder. And from the ruins, new cities arose, the southern city-states. So I am, all jokes aside, I am happy to see that there is a bit of a pantheon developing, right? We've got Dovcool, now we've got the Gilder, and I'm curious if anything else will arise. And it looks like the city-states are going to be tied to the lore of the ancient empire, the dreams that you have, the Black Monolith fight, all these different things hopefully will start to be put into even more context. So we got a bit of a quote here. Are these wastes? You see nothing but sand, air so hot it burns the lungs. Ferrying creatures malforming just to survive. And what of the man who strides here, distilled to his essence? The north finds nobility between the empty chatter of their artifices. Here, nature is nobility, and under such auspices is the strongest who rise, basking beneath the shine of the Gilder, and the weak who are burned beneath his sublimity. It is a measurement most peculiar, and one not often understood by interlopers. So we have some art here, which I think is definitely worth looking at. So you got the bazaar, let's call it a bazaar because it's, you know, it's Arabian, so it's not quite a marketplace. We've got what looks to me like a temple, a place to heal. I would think that's probably correct. We've got an armorer. You can see the little hammer here, the blacksmithing anvil and smithy. We've got a taxidermist. I'm happy to see that taxidermists aren't exclusive to the north. I was worried they would do something like that. The alchemist here, which I'm pretty sure is what this building is. We were introduced to it not so long ago. Is unique to the southern city-states. So you'll have to go south to find these guys. But I was hoping it wasn't like reciprocal. I was hoping there wasn't like taxidermy wasn't unique to the north. It's nice just to have more options everywhere. And I was kind of hoping that since they were considered city-states, they might even have or expand the size of these types of... You know, I hadn't really even thought about that too much. But how cool will it be? I mean, just add an extra building. Make it five slots around the market. I could see that being a thing. They're city-states. Maybe they should be a little bit bigger, more self-contained. You can get a little bit more variety in each city. I don't know, just throwing that out there. But very cool. I love the aesthetic. And if you kind of look in the background, it's got a cool look to it too. So let's look at some of these banners after we read this. The southern city-states are magnificent cities now, easily as large as the largest cities found in the north. They dot the southern deserts where water is to be found, reigning over a precious resource in the otherwise dry and blazingly hot lands. Their streets are abuzz with traders offering their wares on busy bazaars. Nailed it. Huh. Trade with exotic spices and fabrics has made them rich, and their wealthy elite are patrons of the arts and sciences. Okay, so their trade, I think they're telling us their trade goods right now. So spices and fabrics. Got it. That'll probably be their trade goods. And their wealthy elite are patrons of the arts and sciences. Hard to know how that'll translate. Advancements in medicine, astrology, and alchemy are unlike anything found in the north, but much of their economy was built on the back of slaves, and life is cheap here. So slaves looks like it's going to be a thing. probably a background. I would have to imagine much the same way there are backgrounds in the north. Slaves is probably going to be a unique one in the south. So advancements in medicine, we kind of already know. Maybe the temples are more effective, but we already know that there's the surgeon follower, camp follower that you can pick up. Maybe that's what they're alluding to. Maybe they have better versions of medicinal supplies here, more effective ones. Astrology is what I'm most interested in because we already learned a bit about alchemy. That's solid. But astrology, studying of the stars, like, how can we apply that? Is that perhaps just another camp follower, like an astronomer? Like you just pick up an astronomer and they I don't know, maybe they show you locations based on the stars. I don't know. Interesting. But slaves, I bet they'll get more into that in a bit here. Very cool banner designs. I've never been disappointed with the banner designs in this game. I love the originals. And since then, they've added in the Lindworm. They've added in Beast and Exploration, got a few additional ones. And so did Warriors of the North. Very thematic. They look great. Yeah, these are cool. I don't know if these are banners for particular types of houses or if these are ones that we can choose. We know there's going to be additional company origins to go along with this DLC. So I'm sure there's going to be like one where you start in the southern city-states. Now that we know there's slaves, how do you want to... There's got to be a Spartacus run. Oh my god, I was watching a little bit of Spartacus last night with my wife. There's got to be a Spartacus run where you start off as like a slave and you lead a rebellion or something. I'm excited, but very like Babylonian, a little bit of Egyptian influence, obviously, as the real life cultures did have. So the city-states are not ruled by nobility, but by wealth. Ruling councils consist of viziers, ministers, each responsible for a different aspect of governing the state. Selected from the rich bourgeois, so decadent and removed are they from the plight of the common man that they regard everyone as tools used for their amusement. Not much different than the northern noblemen. A mercenary captain could find plenty of work here, whether hunting down desert raiders or crushing slave rebellions. Okay. But they would also find disdain from their employers who regard a mercenary as but a crownling, a slave of a different kind, a slave to the coin. So very cool hairstyles here. I love like the wavy look and the big wavy beards. Every time you've ever seen like a Babylonian king depicted, he's always got this beard. Very cool. So they've got these guys are definitely from the area. They've got a little bit darker skin. Obviously really cool armor on this guy. But I was hoping that we might get some like more African as well. So we would get the Arabian aesthetic, but also a little bit of the North African kind of mixed in there. Maybe we will. Maybe they're just showing off some of the newer models, hairstyles, things like that. I don't see any additional body types. So the Southerners who call themselves gilded, like tanned, the super jacked and tan, for their belief in their single god in whose shine they bask day in and out, are of darker complexion than northern folks. You'll find many of the same professions here as in the north, but also some unique to their culture. For example, slaves can be bought on slave auctions. Okay, so probably a new building and a new background. Slave auctions and slaves. And put to use even in a mercenary company. You pay for a slave once, but never pay them any wages. Oh, that's horrible. I would hope you'd be able to free them. I bet there are events, tons of events, about freeing them escaping, getting into fights with them, all sorts of stuff. And the morale of southern backgrounds will not suffer should the slaves perish on the field of battle, for they are considered very much expendable here. That's kind of a unique little twist on that. Huh. So you could have an army, let's say, or a group, half slaves, half, noblemen of the South. And you just throw away your slaves. Man, that could lead to some very flavorful playthroughs. And some very interesting dialogues and stuff like that. In the same way that you have events now, where your noblemen, let's say you have an adventurous noble, they'll get pissed if they make less money than a sellsword, or there'll always be events where they want to take the last bit of food and the peasant guy's taking it. slaves versus noblemen. This is going to be a thing, guaranteed, and it's going to be an awesome background. I can already tell. There's probably going to be like a Spartacus style company origin, and there's probably going to be one where you're like one of these guys, like think Lone Wolf, but with an Arabian gentleman. So the arena, my eyes kept darting back and forth to this. I was like, oh my god, there's an arena. What does this mean? You've already learned about the Alchemist, a trader that offers unique alchemical contraptions only found in the city-states. Another building entirely unique to the south is the arena. While northerners will duel for honor, southerners do so for the entertainment of the masses, and not always willingly. Arena fights are to the death, and in front of crowds that cheer for the most gruesome manner in which lives are dispatched. Okay. It is a different way to earn money with advantages and disadvantages over mercenary contracts. The biggest advantage I can see to something like this, a building where you can take fights, is that it's instantaneous, right? In the scheme of time passing and you having to spend resources on food and wages, if I could jump into a fight inside of a building and jump back out and literally no time has passed, that's huge. That's a way for me to make money instantaneously. And that really does change things in the game. The fact that it's to the death is kind of scary. There's no backing out, I suppose. So unlike with mercenary contracts, in arena fights you're limited to fight with but a few men of your choice against various opponents. Man, my Warriors of the North run, I'd have just picked out my freaking Lone Wolf dudes and gone to work. Oh man, those dudes are powerful. Each individually so powerful that I'd have put them up against anything in the game. Also, unlike mercenary contracts, you'll know exactly which and how many opponents you're about to face. That's cool. So it's calculated. You don't have to, it says, hey, you'll fight this unhold, and then you get in there and it's like 6 armored unholds, and you're like, well, I just threw away my 5 best guys, I guess. A certain number of beasts, slaves captured, desert raiders, and professional gladiators, for example. So gladiators is a thing. There's no lengthy traveling involved nor ambushes along the road, and you're paid well for victory in front of cheering spectators. However, you can't retreat once a battle has started, right to the death, that's what I figured. And you won't be able to loot after the battle has ended. So you have to rely on them paying you well because you're not going to get any of the stuff they would normally drop. If your men survive long enough, fighting the arena will earn them unique traits as they climb the ranks from pit fighter to champion. That's cool. They can earn traits. I would like to see more earning of traits in the game. You can kind of get some you can get fat, your guys can lose being fat, you can get old. Like there's certain traits you can gain in the game, but I would love to see more of that. It adds flavor, More events as far as I'm concerned. It's always a solid thing. And it says naturally there's also a new gladiator background to be hired in the city-states. That's cool. I just also wish that in the very northern cities that you could also hire barbarians from the last DLC. They're one of my favorite backgrounds, and you can't get them. So you can only get them through lucking out by spending a lot of time in the north and getting those events. But gladiators, I have to imagine they're at least a mid-tier background. I mean, not all gladiators are created equal, I'm sure. They probably come with different tiers of loot. Like you might get a guy who's got like a pitchfork and a net, and you might get another guy who's got a sick helmet and like a shamshir or something. It's like, okay, those guys cost a lot different in terms of their prices. But this is a really good idea. I was not expecting any type of gladiatorial arena. Jeez, what a great addition. I mean, guys, that's really all my thoughts on this. This was a lot of information. Slaves, gladiator pits. We get a little bit of more lore about their gods and how it interacts with the current state of the lore in the game. And I think they even alluded to something else, right? Astrology, somehow, perhaps tied into the game. They gave us what are almost certainly the trade resources. I'm curious to see how the arts and sciences part of this is going to pay out. Maybe more different trade resources. Maybe there's actual artwork that you can trade. I don't know. Anything else that was really important? I feel like there was one other thing. The way that slaves interact are pretty interesting. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it. This is a huge amount of news. I honestly wasn't expecting this much. Part 2 probably coming next week, unless they take a little break in between, because I always find that when they just start dropping the most knowledge they could, they take a little break and they hit you with like the soundtrack or something like that. But we'll see. I look forward to next week either way. I wanted to take a second here just at the end. I didn't want to do it at the beginning, but just to talk about some of the other series going on the channel. A few of them are wrapping up. Darkest Dungeon's almost done. I'm recording some of the last videos for that in a day or two. We've got, let's see, I played the heck out of Tar, which is a very popular series on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed that, but I don't know if that's a game that I could play forever. Let's see, as I go, actually having my list of games here in front of me is very helpful. I used to play Ark. They just dropped a DLC on that not that long ago. I know a lot of YouTubers are making hay out of that game. That game to me needs to get fixed in a way that it never will be in order for me to get back into it. It's just, the building system in that game is garbage. Oh, Halo. Halo, I think, came out. Oh my gosh, where is it? I think we could probably go to... I think the first game is out now. Yeah, they've got dudes streaming it, whatever. Yes, that's what I was waiting for. I bought it. I bought the Master Chief Collection. I got basically like an Xbox controller, Bluetooth Xbox controller, so that I could play Halo 1 for everybody. And because, I haven't really done any type of first-person shooter games on the channel. But Halo is a game that I'm very familiar with, and would just love to chill out with you guys and play old school pistol. I can't help but notice that. Looks sweet. What else? Legend of the Keepers. That's a game I keep my eye on. It's still installed. They've been coming out with some DLC. That once it gets a little bit more fleshed out, that's a game I'd be happy to make a few more videos on. Let's see, what else? I know there's a few more. Necronator, something else that I'm keeping installed. It says the Infinity update is here. Yeah, I don't want to do an Eternal Conquest mode. Enemy relics, new status effects. You know what, we could take a quick look at this. Might as well, we can make it a double. Let's see, I'm just going to skim it. I don't know if I want to make a whole video on this, but they've added a bunch of stuff, it looks like. And that's cool. A lot of new UI improvements, added new medium-sized maps. There's some like jewels in here, I guess. New cards, couple new cards. Increased commander max level, added a new starting deck. Once you hit level 10, that's cool. So just a lot more cards. Maybe I'll take a look back at this game just to see. That's probably the better way to do it. But I really was hoping that they would unlock some more of the different characters to play with, add some new maps and some new enemy characters. Like there's just not quite enough there for a lot more playthroughs. What else? What else? Stone Shard, right? So Stone Shard is a game that I started on the channel. I had a little bit of trouble with it, which I'll talk about at some point. I can talk about it for a second here. But I got to the point where I picked up a contract not realizing that there was a hard time limit, and ended up wasting a bunch of time and basically restarting from scratch. Off camera, playing up and getting my character back to where he was. And actually a little bit better, a lot better than he was. So that it would put us in a great position to just keep playing the game if that's what we want to do. It's a fun game. I'm happy to be playing it. I was very frustrated to find that out, that I failed the first contract because I took like an extra day to rest or something. Just not understanding fully the game mechanics. And then after you do that, you're basically screwed. You can't really complete the next contract without tons of grinding to get up those levels and items that you missed out on by not being able to do the first dungeon. And it totally like bit me in the butt. But I restarted. I'm stronger than I ever was. And you guys, if you're following this series, you'll be able to see that Yorgrim is not a punk anymore. He will crush fools. Okay, Tar. Minor updates. I'm curious if they have anything in the pipeline. Any type of like real DLC type stuff for this. Probably not. But I'm not saying I'm done playing Tar, but I just wish there was a little more replayability. Total War 3 Kingdoms just announced. They dropped their official trailer, A World Betrayed. It's another game. I keep it installed. I haven't gotten into it yet. I feel like there's going to be a point where this game has so much DLC and FLC that I'm just going to start playing it. It's going to be amazing. Instead of playing it when it has like a feeling of being incomplete, and then me not ever wanting to play it again, which is I think where it was when it first came out. Every unit looked the same, spam archers, kind of a rinse repeat thing. Every battle played out pretty much identically. I was like, you know what? I love this era so much. I love these characters so much. I just want to put it off to the side and not make myself hate it. One day there'll be a ton of DLC and it'll be a great game. It's getting there. It's already made huge improvements. And I keep my eye on it and I keep it installed because I know one day I'll want to play it. Total Warhammer 2. Some news. Okay, some somewhat recent news. We're all waiting for the next DLC, and I can't wait for that. And then someone asked me just briefly about XCOM 2, and yeah, guys, I keep it installed. You can tell if I keep a game installed, it means I either have intentions to play it at some point, or I've played it very recently, or I want to make some videos on it, like Stronghold, Crusader. But XCOM 2 is a game that I love. I have the more recent DLC for it. Let's not play anything here. The War of the Chosen? Yeah, I've got all these. It doesn't show it for some reason, but I do have, like, I think every DLC. I got them on sale a while back, and I do plan on playing this game at some point. But guys, that's gonna be it for me today. I just wanted to give you guys a rundown, kind of the state of the channel while I had your attention, some of the series that are going on, and just to say also that for sure, as soon as the new Battle Brothers DLC drops, there will be a daily series on the Blazing Deserts, and it's going to be awesome. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Brett. My channel is Goodtalk Gaming, and as always, y'all, I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.